PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome and Merry Almost Christmas and Happy Winter Solstice from the PCN family. This week on PCN, we check out the 2017 holidays on the green at the Pinehills.
We envision Duxbury at a recent master plan forum, and we find out a little bit more about the popular sport, pickleball.
We meet our Muslim neighbors at the recent Open Mind Speaker Series in Duxbury, and we learn how to run for office with the League of Women Voters.
Betty Cavacco is on set to talk about Plymouth's Winterfest, and we stop by the Kingston Collection to meet Andy, a man with a special gift. PCN has done plenty of stories with friends of the Plymouth Pound at the Kingston Collection. Typically, we showcase the fuzzy friends that need a forever home. But this time around, we want you to meet Andy the cat whisperer. He's a special guy that has a special gift when it comes to taking care of animals. And everyone there just loves working with him.
A cat whisperer, every cat loves me. It's like a gift from God. I just give them lots of love, attention. I'm just so good with animals. What can I say? I've been an animal lover for 34 years. They all love me. I don't know why. They used to.
We met Andy at the adoption center on our grand opening celebration. His dad came in with him and asked if we needed volunteers, and we said of course. So Andy has been with us for 7 years, and he's very dedicated. The animals love him. Even if a cat is having, or a dog, he does the same thing with the dogs. Even if they're having a bad day, we go, Andy, go see those animals, and they just melt. He's our animal whisperer. He's amazing with them, and we're happy to have him. Everyone loves working with Andy.
A cat whisperer is someone that can, well, Jackson Galaxy is a very good example of a cat whisperer, and they can go to a hostile cat or a scared cat, and somehow the cat knows. And one of the things that they suggest you do is if you go to touch a cat, to put your hand like this and not like this, because the hand like this scares them. So Andy's like that. He'll, even the shyest cats, they love him. I have worked with Andy since we opened here in 2011, and every time he comes in and there's a cat that's a little bit shy and a little bit hesitant, he goes and pats the cat, and it's like he's a cat whisperer. There's no doubt about it, he's a cat whisperer. And we're so glad to have him here.
The Pinehills in Plymouth held their 13th annual Holidays on the Green. People from all over the South Shore came down to enjoy the festivities, including an adorable puppy parade, complete with costumes. Let's take a look.
All right, our next one, number 7, is Orion.
It was a terrific day here at the Pinehills. I think probably you noticed that we had something for everybody. We had Santa, we had Rain Dog Parade that just ended. We had 3 awesome dogs with wonderful costumes and prizes. And then kids had a chance to make their own decorated cookies, and they also had a chance to make Christmas ornaments to take home for themselves. It was a really fun day. To me, in charge of marketing here and sales of the Pinehills, it's just really great to see people come out and just enjoy what we have to offer, and also to enjoy the spirit of the season. Well, you know, it's an annual event, and this is our 13th annual. We try to do it on the first Saturday of December every year, and that way people can plan for it every year, and we hope we'll be doing it as a tradition for a long time. I like all the parts of it. The shopping's always fun, but I think the Rain Dog Parade just, is the best at all because it's so much fun to see the creativity of all of the owners with their dogs. There were so many awesome dogs. I mean, the winners were adorable, and they all were adorable, but we had a really cute 16-year-old dog that was in a little sleigh, and he was just really sweet, so he actually won, best overall.
Well, today was the 13th annual Holidays on the Green, an event at the Pinehills with people from not only all over Plymouth, but all over the South Shore. Come down to enjoy the holidays. There's artists in the tent behind us. Santa makes several visits, animals to pet, horse-drawn sleigh to run around in, and most importantly, the Rain Dog Parade. This year, I believe there were over 100 entrants, our biggest field ever. Well, I think it's fun for everyone, and whether you live here or you don't live here. We can tell when we see people from town, and maybe even more important, people who either work here or work for companies that are based here, and they're here with their families and their kids and grandkids to get in the holiday spirit. This year's turnout was even bigger than last year's, and it seemed to go without a hitch. We get some nice help from the Plymouth Police and so on, and it worked.
It's great to be a part of the Plymouth community, and it's just wonderful to bring people from the town and the region together to help celebrate the holidays here at the Pinehills.
After a choo-choo train? Named after a choo-choo train.
The Metropolitan Area Planning Council, which handles community planning, held Duxbury's first Master Plan Forum. The master plan, coined Envision Duxbury, sent out surveys as the first part of the process and plans to hold several forums to hear the public's thoughts and concerns. PCN stopped in to learn more.
Tonight's event is the outcome for us to know what the response was on all the surveys that we got. We got an amazing response rate of 10% of the adult population, and as I understand it, that translates to 20% of the homes in Duxbury responded to the survey about what do you want to see for Duxbury's future. And tonight we're going to get our first feedback about what everybody said and start to separate that into more a goal for the future of the town, and then also what kinds of policies are we going to try to implement over the next several years. So this is the first of many community forums that we'll have that will help everybody give us that input, and we're going to start to see things gel before our eyes about what we think. The town of Duxbury and the planning board we're members of the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, which is a regional planning agency, and we're fortunate enough to be able to ask them for technical assistance dollars that come through the states to the planning agencies, and we were able to hire MAPC to do the consulting work and do a lot of the pulling together the information, pull the forums together, draw the plan together for us. And that's a tremendous help because we only have one planner in town, and the planning board, they're all volunteers, very active at that, but this is something that we really needed some outside assistance to get done.
We're looking to introduce people to the community process and the master planning process, but also focus on the three phase one elements of the process, which are housing, open space and recreation, and historic and cultural resources. We have a website for the project, envisionduxbury.mapc.org, and people can go there and download the presentation and other materials as the project progresses.
I had been an advocate of doing this for quite a few years, and when she was interviewed and I was part of that process, I asked her if she would be willing to give great effort to doing the master plan. And she was, and she's done a wonderful job at it. The most important part is the part you see tonight, which is reaching out to the residents to a hopefully representative sample and seeing what they want.
Of everyone in the town, I'd say the planning board is the most delighted to have this underway. We're all excited to be able to implement it. And without the help of the state and the MAPC through the Community Compact and the other support that we get from the state agencies in helping us draw together our plans like green communities, like the comprehensive plan, we would have a hard time doing it on our own. We're very grateful for that help.
Say the words pickleball to people and see if they give you a funny look. There's a pretty good chance they will, but the truth is it's a sport that's been around for over 50 years. It's a cross between tennis and ping pong, and believe it or not, people are playing it all over the country. In fact, there was such a demand for it that the Pembroke Recreation Center hosted a demonstration day for interested parties. PCN was one of those interested parties. In the summer of 2016, I came across some people in Kingston playing an unusual looking game that almost appeared like a miniature version of doubles tennis. There were some noticeable differences: the decreased velocity of the ball and the sound the ball made. These folks satisfied my curiosity, however, and told me that the name of the sport was pickleball. The game got its start in the 1960s on the West Coast and is oftentimes thought of as a warm weather outdoor activity. But it's nice to know that even in the winter months and cold conditions, it can be played indoors as well. By popular demand, the Recreation Commission at the Pembroke Community Center hosted an audience participation pickleball demo with the help from some seasoned players from the Abington Pickleball Association. Of course, I had to find out how the game got its name, because it didn't appear that any cucumbers were being harmed, or used for that matter, in the playing of it.
Pickle comes from a dog named Pickle who chased a ball when it was first organized, or actually first started out in Bremerton, Washington. And that's how it stayed, as pickleball, because of a dog. However, there is no pickles on the court. It's just a wiffle ball, a paddle such as this, and the court, which is set up on a third of the size of a tennis court, which is great for us older people in that you don't have to run as far, but it is a huge amount of fun. We have a lot of fun.
The games are fun, but it's not all fun and games. There are some rules, the first of which is to always serve underhand.
There's a two-bounce rule, I should say, when playing pickleball. When you serve, you have to serve in the opposite corner like you do in tennis, exactly like tennis. They have to let it bounce once. They return it cross-court again. The return has to be bounced once. Then it's mainly volleying, or like that, it can be bouncing and hitting. Only a one bounce after that, too. It's no double bounce is a fault.
And that would be a fault that the big dumb gorilla that came out from behind the camera to play would incur. And yes, I am that big dumb gorilla. Since this was the first time for playing for some of these people, today was more just about getting comfortable with form, technique, and most importantly, having fun. And as fun as it was for me, I wasn't exactly their target audience.
We have some people that are in their 80s that are playing, 82, 85. We have playing with us, awesome players. We have, like that, all ages. We say 55 and on over because we were trying to encourage seniors to become more active. Just because we're a certain age doesn't mean we have to sit in a chair and knit. We can do other things too. So that's what we're trying to get people out, get moving, enjoy life.
In Pembroke at the Community Center, I'm Brian Sullivan for PCN.
PCN stopped by the First Parish Church for another Open Mind Speakers Evening. Meet your Muslim neighbors. The goal was to bring people together in understanding about the friends, neighbors, and people of our communities. It was a warm, welcoming evening, and PCN was happy to be there.
Basically, this is a Meet Your Muslim Neighbor event, and I think it really helps combat a lot of the divides that we have in our society. Statistics show, research shows that to meet someone, to interact with someone, immediately breaks down those barriers and gets rid of any negative perceptions you may have about them. At times it can be a little bit awkward because for that person it may be the first time they've met a Muslim or had any interaction with a Muslim. And so sometimes they feel awkward asking those hard to ask questions. So part of what I do is I help to put them at ease, normalize their questions, and just say, hey, I would rather you be asking me so that I can answer than, Google it, basically.
From the looks of the group behind me, I see that there are a lot of people who have a keen interest. They're curious to learn more about Islam. They look like a very respectful and tolerant group, not a hostile group, so I'm very happy about that. But I would be equally happy to take questions that are challenging, that people would like to know more about Islam and try and correct some of the negative impressions that people have been getting from the media.
I don't know the specific numbers, but what I can say is worldwide, Muslims number in the billions. And as far as those who would, try to hijack our faith, who would try to claim legitimacy, they comprise less than 1% of Muslims worldwide.
Well, I hope the people coming home tonight will see a positive view of who we are, our involvement in the community. As you saw from the other speakers, they are actively engaged in trying to work with the community. This is our role. We want to be part of the community. And I hope that they'll see that we're just like any other American citizen, happy to be part of the American experiment.
Have you ever read about something that a local or national politician did and thought, if I were in office, I would make a much different choice? Well, go and do it. In fact, the Plymouth Area League of Women Voters encouraged people to do just that, run for office. They recently hosted an information session to teach people the ins and outs of what it takes.
The League of Women Voters, one of our missions is voter education and also to encourage people to run for office. And there seems to be a renewed interest in people of all ages in participating in democracy in whatever way they can. And the League's position is that it starts from the ground up. It starts from local elections on up. So what we've done is assembled a group of Plymouthians who have successfully run for office, one of whom is retired, the former Senator Therese Murray, to talk about their experiences in running for office. And we also have the town clerk who's going to share kind of the legal ins and outs of how you begin to run for office. And we'll conclude with Bill Cohane talking about how to run a campaign. But the idea is to encourage people to think about running for office because in many places elections are uncontested, and we think that there needs to be more of a choice for all of our voters. The people that get the most work done are those that are in the most local offices, and they're the ones that have the most success. So success breeds success, and it also breeds familiarity. So it's hard for somebody, I think it would be hard for somebody who is relatively unknown by the community to come in and run for, say, state legislature or even for Washington without having had the experience on a local level and the contacts on a local level. All politics really is local, and so we have to start here and then build on that foundation. But in all probability, your local offices and your local officers and do more and accomplish more in 1 year than probably our national legislators. If you don't like it, you need to change it, and the only way to change it is to be part of the change. And so therefore, take your frustrations, take your concerns, and turn them into action, and either run yourself or support somebody who is running.
To the Secretary of the Commonwealth.
We are so very pleased to have on set today Betty Cavacco, who is a million things in Plymouth. She is a Plymouth Select Woman. Mm-hmm. You used to be on the Advisory and Finance Board.
Right.
The biggest thing we want to talk about, though, is something that you did starting in Manamet. You started the Plymouth Youth Foundation.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it was actually started as the Friends of Manamet Youth Center. We got involved when the town was going to shut down the after-school program at the youth center, which is better known to folks my age as Bartlett Hall, and got involved and turned the entire program around. We spent quite a bit of money. The whole facility is upgraded. When we took over, or when we started our nonprofit, because that's what we did, is we started a nonprofit. There were 43 kids in the program, and I think now there's over 300. Wow. So it's been a great success. We're moving on to our next project, which will be the Hedges Pond facility.
Okay, which is going to be what?
Well, they run a summer camp there, but half days and weather dependent.
Okay.
So what we want to do is refurbish the Great Hall, kind of like we did with the Manamet Youth Center, and then they'll be able to run a full day camp. And if it's raining out, the kids don't have to go home.
Right.
And it's hard for parents.
Sure is.
That at work and they have to, all of a sudden it starts raining and your kids have no place to go.
Sure
so,
is.
That's our next.
And when's the time frame? When do you expect to do that?
Well, we're going to try and get the electrical work done so we can have lights and power to see what we
Which
can
is always
do.
nice.
And I know Glen Electric has been really supportive of us, so I believe they're going to be going in and getting us power.
Beautiful.
There's a few, it's cosmetic.
Yep.
But
should it be up and running next summer?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
My fingers are crossed. We after this and what we'll talk about, our next big fundraiser is the Kentucky Derby at Alden Park.
Yes.
So we did it last year,
Yeah.
and we were lucky enough to be invited back.
Right.
And we're going to put all those proceeds to the Hedges Pond facility.
Excellent.
And the Great Herring watershed, Great Herring Pond watershed, just donated a check for $5,000 to us for the Hedges Pond facility.
They're such amazing people, organizations.
They
in
really
this town.
are.
It blows my mind. It really does.
Yep.
So the Plymouth Youth Foundation is sponsoring the Plymouth Winterfest
They
for the
are.
first year.
Yes.
So talk about what that's going to entail.
Oh my goodness.
We're so excited.
Well, I am so beyond excited to be able to pull this together. And I mean, our board is amazing. The local businesses that have stepped up are amazing. It's unbelievable the amount of effort. We've been meeting like every Wednesday at Main Street Sports. Craig Vogel and Tatum, I can't even remember her last name, from Craft Beer Cellar.
Yep.
They have been amazing. They have really helped me pull this whole thing together, and quite frankly, I would never be able to do it without them.
Right. It always takes a group effort. What is the objective of this Winterfest?
This objective is to bring in good family fun,
Yeah.
with kids and community. I just want people to be able to go someplace, with their children and not have to worry about, a pocket full of money.
Yep.
And it's a free event.
let's-
Rick Carlson is our marketing guy, and he has actually done a very good job of getting
Getting the word out there, yeah.
And getting the entire thing is sponsored by
So
local businesses.
some of the things that families can do is there's a light show, a laser light show.
A laser light show.
What does that mean?
So that is Pinnacle Laser Productions.
Yeah.
They are the same people that do First Night in Boston.
Oh, wow.
And they are going to be on the Town Hall Green. It'll start at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
And
When it's dark.
When it's dark.
Yeah.
And we'll have 20-minute light shows every hour on the hour.
Oh, excellent.
So
From 5 o'clock till when?
9.
Okay, awesome.
So
that's a laser light show. Then an aerial circus in Memorial Hall.
yes.
Like a real circus, like
Well,
Cirque du
there's no
Soleil
clowns,
type
I
of
don't
thing?
think. It's kind of like a Cirque du Soleil kind of thing. It's Aerialicious out of Boston, and they do, again, they've done
amazing.
amazing.
Are they going to hang from the ceiling
they
in Memorial
are.
Hall?
Yep, we're going to
Wow,
have
that'll be interesting.
rigging and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
there. So there's going to be 2 shows there, one at 5:30 and I want to say one at 7.
Okay.
And they're 45-minute shows.
Okay. Do people have to get tickets?
Nope. This
Okay,
is a
just-
free event.
So
all completely
first
just,
come, first serve. If it's
just-
loaded to the
yep.
gills, so be it.
Yep. You can stand by for the next show.
Okay. Street performers, musicians.
It's just so awesome. So street performers, we're going to have a Winterfest princess.
Okay.
So which is Kaylee Blackington of Plymouth, and she's like Miss Teen Massachusetts,
Okay.
but very
Good.
we're going to have
Yep.
that. We're going to have a juggler. We're going to have a mad scientist
Yep.
who does bubbles.
Yeah.
We're going to have balloon artists. We're going to have all the Plymouth dance teams are coming
Excellent. Excellent.
and getting involved. And anyone else out there that wants to come and
Great.
do some roving performances.
So everywhere you look, there'll be something wonderful to see.
Right. We actually have an acrobat in a big giant snowball that will be going up and
Rolling
down.
up and down. Oh, that's awesome.
So,
that's awesome. So let's recap in our last few seconds here. It's going to be on Saturday, the 30th
Yes.
of December.
Yes.
And it starts at 4-ish?
4.
4 and goes till whenever.
At 4:30, there's a fun kids run.
Okay.
So, and South Shore Race Management is putting that on. And
Okay.
it's nothing, just like if you want to,
Run,
if
you
the
can
kids
do it.
want to run.
Yeah. So for people to get more information about everything that's going on, what's the best place to do it?
Well, we have Facebook.
You have a
We have
Facebook? Yep.
Yep. We have a
That's
Facebook
called
page.
Plymouth Winterfest.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, it's Friends of Manamate Youth Center.
Okay, okay.
So We also have our website,
Yep.
friendsofnyc.com.
Okay.
And Rick Carlson, carlsoncreative.com.
Excellent.
So
Looking forward to it. I bet it'll be a fabulous evening.
I can't wait.
Okay. Thank
I
you
can't
so
wait.
much
Thank
for
you.
putting this together.
No problem.
Okay, and thank you for watching. You can see the show again. You can check out our website, and PCN is also on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook to get up-to-date info. Tune in next week for our producer favorites of 2017. We will see you soon.